What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 20 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. So we are on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get 20 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure you join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $1,000 just yesterday, and another member who won $100 for the 4th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description, so go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're going to talk about is Royce O'Neal, and this one is for 17.5 points, rebs, and assists, and this one is for less. Now look at Royce O'Neal. We've actually seen him go in the under in 2 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Memphis Grizzlies. Now look at the Memphis Grizzlies. We do see that Memphis Grizzlies do rank 22nd when it comes to points allowed. On top of that, moving on into assists allowed, we do see that the Memphis Grizzlies rank 18th, and then rebounds allowed, we also do see that Memphis rank 13th. So, you know, they rank pretty decent in all 3 categories, and that's a big reason why we do very much like the under for someone like Royce O'Neal. On top of that, O'Neal doesn't really have the highest usage rate in this Phoenix team. We think other players in this Phoenix team are going to take away from Royce O'Neal's usage rate, and for that reason, that's a big reason as well why we do like the under for this one. Now, although he did play Memphis recently in the last 5 games on February 12, where he did get 21, we think that was a little bit of an outlier game, and he has had an outlier game as well against the San Antonio Spurs. It's brought this line a little bit too high that now there's a lot more value to go on the under, and we have seen that over the last 2 games. We've seen his usage rate go back down to normal, and this is where we are expecting to see him. His average over the last 5, like I mentioned, is 19. Yes, it is above the line, but like I mentioned, these outlier games have pushed it a little bit too high, so now there's more value to go on the under. So for that reason, I do very much like the under for this situation here. When it comes to the matchup of Memphis and Phoenix, we aren't really expecting that big an amount of pace as well, so we could see a little bit more of a slower pace game, which should lead to less volume for Royce O'Neal, you know, in total. So for that reason, definitely like the under and definitely keep an eye out for it. So Royce O'Neal, 17.5 points, rebs, and assists for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about Jaylen Green. So Jaylen Green, as we all know, another fantastic player, and this one is actually for 4.5 assists, and this one is for less. Now look at Jaylen Green. We've actually seen him go in the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Milwaukee Bucks. Now look at the Milwaukee Bucks. We do see that the Milwaukee Bucks do rank 9th when it comes to assists allowed, so they rank very well in that category, and that's a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here. His average over the last 5 is 4.6, but there was an outlier game most recently against Utah. It brought this line a little bit too high that now, you know, we still do like the under for this situation here. Now, when we look at someone like Jaylen Green as well for the Houston Rockets and Milwaukee Bucks, we are also not expecting that much pace from this game. It should lead to the under due to the fact that we aren't expecting that much amount of pace, so it could be a little bit more of a slower pace game, which should lead to the under in this situation here. So for that reason, we do very much like the under, and when it comes to someone like Jaylen Green, when we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have him favored for the under as well, so that works out in our favor there. So Jaylen Green, 4.5 assists for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about Miles Bridges. So Miles Bridges, as we all know, great player for Charlotte Hornets, and this one is for 23.5 points, and this one is for less. Now, when we look at Miles Bridges, we've actually seen him go in the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Golden State Warriors. Now, the Golden State Warriors have done a fantastic job when it comes to restricting points, especially with the addition of Jimmy Butler. They have definitely turned it up a notch, and they currently rank 10th when it comes to points allowed. So, they rank in the top 10, which I think is great there, and it will definitely restrict Miles Bridges as much as possible. Miles Bridges is going on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, but not on top of that. We also do see his average over the last +5. Yes, it is 24.8, but he did have an outlier game against Denver where he had 36 points. When it comes to this matchup against Golden State Warriors, especially with Warriors being in a position where they are actually looking to really win games in order to make the playoffs, while Charlotte and Miles Bridges specifically will definitely be more on the tanking side of things. We could see, Charlotte tank the game. Miles Bridges may not get the same amount of usage rate that we usually see, and that should lead to an under for this situation here. When we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have in favor for the under as well, but Golden State Warriors also do a really good job at restricting points to the forward position. So we definitely see that being a big case coming into this game, and for that reason we are definitely sticking to the under for this situation here. So Miles Bridges for 23.5 points for less, I think, is a great pick. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines, so here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Jimmy Butler III. Now, as we all know, Jimmy Butler III is in his new team, the Golden State Warriors, and they've been on an absolute roll as of lately. Now, these are his stats, including his time in Miami Heat, but so far this season he is averaging 17.6 points, 5.3 rebounds, 4.9 assists, while also shooting 52.4% from the field. So he's done a great job for the Golden State Warriors, and the Warriors do face off against the Charlotte Hornets. Now, when we look at the Charlotte Hornets, we see that they rank 12th when it comes to points allowed. On top of that, moving on into assists allowed, we see that they rank 17th. And then rebounds allowed, we also do see that the Charlotte Hornets rank 22nd. So, they do rank pretty average tier in all three categories, and for that we still do see someone like Jimmy Butler going on the over here. We definitely see him taking advantage of this due to the fact that Jimmy Butler plays a small forward position, and Charlotte Hornets do a very poor job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the small forward position. So I think Jimmy Butler will be able to take advantage of this. A lot of the attention has been on Steph Curry quite a lot, and for that reason we see that Jimmy Butler has been able to get to the ring very easily. He's been able to grab a lot of boards and also dish out pretty well as well. So we definitely have seen his usage rate be at a very high level in his new team, the Golden State Warriors. And on top of that, when we also look at this matchup, we also do see Hornets are in a position that they are looking to tank in order to get a better draft pick, while the Warriors are on the other side of things where they are looking to win games in order to continue to make a run in the NBA playoffs. So for that reason, we are expecting Jimmy Butler to have a good amount of usage rate. He should play quite a lot of the game. On the other hand, Charlotte may come in with a little bit of a different lineup, try to tank as much as possible, which should lead to quite a lot of opportunities for Jimmy Butler there. So for that reason, we do like the over for this situation, whether it's points, rebounds, and assists. We see a lot of value there. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Zach Edey. So, Zach Edey, great player, does play for the Memphis Grizzlies and has been averaging 9.1 points, 7.7 rebounds, 0.9 assists, while also shooting 57.3% from the field. So, he's done a great job for the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies do have themselves a great matchup against the Phoenix Suns. Now, Phoenix Suns haven't really been doing too well. They do rank 20th when it comes to points allowed. On top of that, moving on into assists allowed, we see that they rank 16th, and then rebounds allowed, they also do rank pretty low at 24th. So a little bit of a mixed bag there. They rank pretty low in all three categories. Now we do very much like the over for this situation for someone like Zach Edey, but I would definitely focus a lot more on rebounds. The reason being is that he doesn't have that high of a usage rate in the assist department, and points, it is a little bit 50-50 when it comes to his usage rate out there. There's some games where he does get a couple of shots up, other games where he barely gets a shot up. So we think that's a little bit more, hesitant when it comes to, points. However, with rebounds, his usage rate remains high, and it also remains very stable, and that's why we definitely see him going on the over in that category, especially against this Suns team. Now, the Suns also do a really poor job, especially against the center position. Zach Edey is 7'4". He's been able to take advantage of this, and we think that will happen into this next game. So for that reason, we are definitely liking the over for this situation here. And when it comes to someone like Zach Edey, what we also do see is that when it comes to his usage rate out there for this Memphis Grizzlies team, it remains to stay very high, especially in that rebounding department. So for that reason, we do very much like the over for this one. So definitely keep an eye out for Zach Edey there. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Evan Mobley. So another great big man. Now, Evan Mobley does play for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he has been doing great. And he has been been averaging 18.7 points, 9.3 rebounds, 3.1 assists, while also shooting 56.9% from the field. So he's done a great job for none other than the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Cavaliers do face off against none other than Orlando Magic. Now, when we look at Orlando Magic, Orlando are a great team, and on top of that, when we look at actually their points, rebounds, and assists allowed, we see that they're ranked second when it comes to points allowed, second when it comes to assists allowed, and then second when it comes to rebounds allowed. So they're very, very good at restricting points, rebounds, and assists, and for that reason, we definitely see someone like, Evan Mobley going on the under here. A big reason being is that when it comes to Evan Mobley, when we look at Orlando, they actually do a really good job at also restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the power forward position. So for that reason, we do very much think that, a lot of the attention will be on Evan Mobley and trying to stop him as much as possible. So that's why we do very much like, the under for this situation here, due to the fact that Evan Mobley is going to attract a lot of attention defensively, and we definitely see that playing into a key role here. Now, both of these teams are looking to continue to play at a hard level. Magic are definitely in the playoff picture, and they are continuing to look to get higher up on the ranks. Same with Cavaliers, so we aren't expecting any tanking in this matchup. So it should lead to a really hard game and also an intense one at that.